those moments where I did stuff that was heartfelt, that's where I got peace. And that's where I found, like, looking back, I was at my most prolific when it came to manifesting. I didn't call it manifesting at the time. I just knew, and I would say for the language I had, well, you know what? When I have my mindset on something, I get it. Because mindset was the vocab of the time. But the truth is, if I went way back, if I have my heart set on something, I get it. Because I know how to set my heart on something. Hello, dear sweet souls, and welcome again back to another episode of Awaken to Joy. We are so happy to have you here. We're happy to be here. And today's topic, we are going to actually be covering mindset, this idea behind mindset. And the reason we're going to talk about it is because for a very long time, before I actually went on my spiritual journey, though I would say that we all embark on one as soon as we're born. It's whether you are conscious of the fact that you're on one or not.
Yeah.
In one way or another. I've always grown up with like self-help books and, you know how to build yourself up and win and be a champion and all this self-help stuff. I'm like a kid of Amway. That's what it is, like
personality traits
and what type of personality are you, and how much is that going to affect whether or not you make it in life, and what you need to change about yourself in order to have that help you and get forward in life, and everything very I would say masculine orientated as far as winning, surviving, thriving, all of this stuff. And that's not to say it's in a negative way, because I believe that there needs to be just a balance. It's not an eradication of one or the other. I think it's a balance between both feminine and masculine. But I say this to say, I went on a journey a long time ago for mindset, having the right mindset, getting your mind right. And my takeaway from it is that a lot of the times you can end up going against who you are fundamentally, because you think that that's the right way of going and getting things done, and not being able to express yourself how you would naturally, because how you would naturally in certain requirements are considered less than helpful, not enough to get you to where you need to be in life. So with that being said, where did I go? What happened with me? What happened with you as well? Like, obviously I want your opinion as well about this, but that journey. So that's what we'll be talking about today. I'm sure you lot have been through the same thing, or going through it, or it's 2024. You know what self-help is, and it's not that its intentions are bad. It's still, I think, some sort of I still feel like it's some sort of direction towards sovereignty. It's self-help. It's like you can help yourself, like the power is within you. But I think it's the placement that may be out of line with a lot of us when we start being on this journey, because a lot of it, even say something as like manifestation. Manifestation, something that I learned a long time ago, but I wasn't aware I was doing. And then as I have come to consciously know what manifestation is, then have realized as to times when I tried to manifest something and it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to, or I manifested something I didn't prefer, versus the time I wanted to manifest and manifested something I did prefer. So when I say mindset, what does that speak to you? Like, you know, there's hustle mindset, there's, you know, business mindset, there's, you know, winner's mindset. There's so many talk of that. How have you experienced that?
You know what? I think it's like a tool that you have, but it's misused. That's personally what I've been able to actually see, like, by trying all these so-called hack, you know, in a way to just manifest. Or because even in the first place, when you mention spiritual journey,
yeah,
and we only really see it as a spiritual journey, like you said, like we all are on one, simply because we are spiritual being. Well, that's what at least I believe. But I guess everyone that has actually started looking into like the spiritual journey, it's because they feel they're spiritual being at core. Like they don't think they just this person here on this earth. Yeah. So the mere fact that you say spiritual journey is also an acknowledgement that you are on a quest for the very thing you are, which is a spiritual being. But then that also explains why we go through this hack by getting the right mindset and obviously wrong mindset. Because obviously if there's a right mindset, there's a wrong mindset. So what I found out my own experience of it is kind of be of a jack of all trades and trying different things and different hack. And if you apply these, then it's this means that, and kind of pigeonhole myself into a personality type.
Yeah.
And be proud of it, which to me is like a contraction. It's not an expansion. And I found out with mindset.
Do you know what personality type that you have been classed with?
See, I can tell you, detail artist and all of that stuff. You know, someone don't like details and analytics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of giving yourself a label to you can only be one things, or if you only are going between the category of A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
So getting the right mindset, it came down to just simply the fact that I was on a quest that now we obviously identified as being a spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I started even giving some sort of attention to these things in the first place. Had I been completely fine with myself, I believe I wouldn't even acknowledge it.
You think so?
Yeah, if I was fine with myself, I felt like I didn't believe the fact that you must be this or you must be that, and there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things, and you know. So that's my whole experience on that, because none of it stuck finally anyway. Like for me, I don't know if for you it is the same, but for me it's just my experience of it.
Well, my experience of it is that I was introduced to it when I was really, really young. So it was like 11 years old, that type of age.
Right there.
Right there, the tender age of 11. I was a tween, a mere tween, you know.
Labeling you already?
Right like that.
What category were you? A, B, C, or D? No.
It wasn't that.
Enlighten me. Go on. Which one was it?
It was S personality.
It was just... S!
S personality.
Is that an abbreviation for something?
Sensitive.
Oh my gosh. Won't they do it?
You're so sensitive, you know, the crybaby of the office. The silly people, the people who are, you know, they're stupid, really.
Were you allowed to be something else?
No, because that's just who you are. And now you got to work with who you are. So you got to try and adopt as much from somewhere else outside of yourself as... And, you know, I think, bless it, there is a thread of truth, but like with everything that has a thread of truth in it, it can get skewed, because once something has a thread of truth in it, there's always going to be people who are like, well, especially if a lot of people are going to approach anything evidence-based.
Yeah.
All you need to say is one truth in it, and that's it.
But what
it
would
will be like, I see that makes sense to me. This must be right.
What is the truth of it, though?
Nothing about you. For me personally, with my truth, is that I experienced it. Was I an S-type personality? Well, I guess.
Check this out. Yeah?
Was I sensitive? Yeah.
Check.
Was I stupid? No.
No, check this out.
Was I silly? No.
Would you say...
Have I ever cried in an office? No.
But would you say any of this, it's from sort of a feeling of missing something, or place of lack, or it's like from a place... Originally, I'm talking about... So maybe like you were sensitive because something didn't sit right with you, didn't align with you previously. That resulted you in being sensitive.
Well,
which doesn't mean that's who you are.
I've always read energies, so I was in fact sensitive, but not in the way that people would cast it as a bad thing. It's just that if someone's had a bad, like this is for instance, if someone's had a bad day and they come home, I would immediately know before they step in the door that they've had a bad day. Like, these are the things. However, when you say you got a big family do, or like back in the day, we used to go to my grandma's house. I think it was like on a Friday night or a Sunday night. We used to all go down there. Like once a week, we'd all be down there, yeah?
Yeah.
With all those energies in there, I used to pick up on a lot of things. And a lot of things that I shouldn't have had to as a kid, but you do, because I was intuitive, yeah?
Okay.
I was sensitive to that.
Intuitive, but what, sensitive?
Yeah, I don't take sensitivities as a bad thing.
No,
it's been,
of course.
However, in the space of business and getting ahead and winning, it's seen as a negative, not a positive. So from that perspective, it was deemed that I was not worthy of.
Well, so let me guess, no one wanted to be the S personality type.
No, it was like shameful.
So already...
if we're saying S's.
Yeah, okay. So it's already, well, you've got the black E's, you got the white E's, you got the...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, wow. Whew. I don't think I want to be one of these, because that comes with all sorts of things.
It was just another way to categorize people.
Sorry to say that, but
no, it was just another way to categorize people, and where I can see it really did help people thrive. It still pigeonholed a lot of people, because they were like, so then where do I fit? Well, this is no place for someone like you.
Yeah, you're not gonna make much money because that your personality stuff. You can't run a company. I mean, you're gonna be strong.
It's all of that.
It was a whole lot of the,
However, they did S, but they never said it's strong.
Well, certainly not.
They did S, but they never said stable.
No.
Just as they would say C, and they would say you're controlling, but they never said that you'd be considerate. And just as D personality, and I'm trying for the life of me to remember the personality trait, what that particular test was called. I just know there was DSIC, disc. I remember it thinking, and I remember looking at him thinking, fuck that disc. This my 11-year-old mind. Fuck that this. That this don't know nothing.
When I heard that, distant for dickheads, that's what I thought,
Well, they were like somebody who's...
French.
Oh, please. Somebody who's domineering, somebody who is, dutiful, will get things done. They didn't say that it was somebody... Like, as much as there would be things that people would find pride in for office work, they also kind of took out the humanity from those people as well, like the humane side of those people.
Someone's going to dominate people. It just sounds it to me.
But they wouldn't say that those people are,
you direct, you dominate, when you walk into a room,
Yeah, but they wouldn't say like they're darlings.
You can be
or
a leader.
They wouldn't say that they are,
it was just
beautiful or devoted. They would say,
That's what I say. I think it was misused, like a tools that you had that was misused because
I think in all fairness, even if that book or the list or the test had those things in it, people never ever spoke about what was good about the personality traits. They would only ever talk about them in the ways that it was like things that people would need to steer clear of. So in the end, what was extrapolated, most people's takeaway was that their personality type did not fit and needed to be changed in order to fit, which immediately rubbed me up the wrong way because I'm sensitive. You know what I mean?
Which then is a fulfilling prophecy because then you get upset about it and say, you see, you get upset about anything, we can't tell you nothing. And it's like, no, you set me up here. Yeah. Listen, there was all this thing. But you know what? I think that fundamentally, talking to the mindset, sort of like you're setting your mind for some things.
I thought about
if anything, for failure, I think the mind is, like I say, it's a tool in order to experience this reality or what we call reality, this matrix we're in. I think your mind is a misused tool, and unfortunately we only use the mind and not anything else, and that has created a lot of dividing between people in terms of the belief for what you can be or what you can't be. The belief of it has also between certain people probably not lacking some people they would have lacked, but because they that personality and it was, like you say, seen as something that is very ruthless, so they're like, no, I don't really like you. And that's why I say personally that type D is no, because it was often sounded like you are just
I think it was a way to kind of herd people again. Like, when you go to school, they very much class you. Everyone's got their categories. It's like class clown, teacher's pet, prom queen or whatever it is, whatever classmate they think that you belong to, and then you stuck with that exactly.
I understand.
And whatever that would be, then you'd be stuck with that. And it's like, as if I felt personally, it was at the time. Hang on a minute. You mean to tell me I'm going to school. I'm going to start high school because I was like just about to start high school. I'm going to start high school. I'm going to put in all these categories. And you mean to tell me when we finish, we get put into another category?
Basically, yeah.
I was like, this is BS.
But this is, okay. Mindset, most of the time, for what I've heard, it's used in order to achieve some things, like of sort of like a success. The mindset is never really used like you have to get the right mindset to find love. They don't really, they don't really use it for that. Like, I'm not saying no one does, but rarely. It's more like, to create your own business, be successful, go up the corporate ladder.
Oh, you can hear
like
it.
That.
You can. I think that, in all fairness, because we found love quite earlier on, I don't think we had to kind of go through that. But trust and belief, There are lots of, teachings out there for how to get the right mindset in order to find love, in order to stop being single, in order to stop, to be a wife, or to be all of that.
Yeah, I guess
to achieve certain things in society that you want to achieve.
But it's not really what's prominent when you talk about mindset. People
You've never looked in that department, but believe me, that's a whole bag.
Maybe I didn't. You're right.
That's a whole bag. And when I just knew that when it came to manifesting consciously, mindset is something that got in the way.
Yeah.
Mindset was something that got into the way because it's very much do, have, be, rather than be, have, do.
Do you know what it is? It's like for me, it was giving you a bike without the brakes. When you're going to go downhill, you're going to go to a direction, you're going to realize, I don't like it, and you're going to find it so hard to stop.
Yeah.
And I felt like people were set in a course, even down to working out. Gotta get my mindset. But not a lot of people actually at the time, because there was a time where this was very prominent, people were really talking loud about it, decided, you know what, this workout doesn't suit me or can't be for everyone. So, because only as now I'm starting seeing people be a lot more like
open to the fact that, you know what, that's a trend, but that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, and or certain hack that will be more energy based, by more how you feel rather than how you think.
Yeah.
So, and that's why so many people trying to achieve certain things, they're like, how do they do it? Because I don't got the time for that. I can't really do what they're doing. So that means that I gotta be, like fat forever, or I have to be, and people
or struggle forever,
or be broke forever. And I'm using words people use on themselves. It's not me thinking these words. It's using literally words people say to themselves, and they're thinking.
And at one point or the other that I've used on myself, like at the end of the day, I've used these things on myself. I've said these things to myself. I've experienced these things. So sometimes it could just be disheartening.
Well, specifically if you think the go-to place is only through the mind, it means that if you don't do it, then you start blaming yourself because you think you're not doing what it takes. Because you kind of forsake so many other aspects of who we are here.
It's true. But the idea that words are spells. When I was thinking about that the other day, I thought, then what is mindset? Being set in your mind. To set something is to fix it in place. To fix in place your mind is like control it. Especially if you are going from one mindset to the other. Well, you would have to unset whatever is in set already and reset in place.
Well, you would need usually when they're talking about mindset, it's often with the word right in front of it. You have to have the right mindset. Which means you have already condemned the mindset that you are on. Which means if there's right, then there's wrong mindset.
Exactly.
Which means that you like you just say, condemn that yourself to.
So what you've done, like, firstly, you have to affirm that the mindset you actually have at the time is wrong.
Yeah.
In doing it that way is what I'm trying to say. In going that way around it.
Yeah.
And then affirm the new mindset that may or may not actually suit you fundamentally, but because there's this, if you believe this, or if you set your mind to this, then you can have this, then there's no way out of it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You feel like, well, if I want it, this is the only way.
Well, it was a strange way of taking responsibilities for things that don't belong to you. So I felt like if you say, I've got to get, the right mindset, which, like you said, you affirm that you're in the wrong mindset. So then it's your fault. Usually that's how it goes, because you're not doing what it takes. And it was a lot of, because there's one way this is working. If you do what a usual personality type D is doing, and then you can get the right mindset. So it was a lot of a puzzle, like an hybrid puzzle that they're trying to put together, and you're trying to apply to your life without taking into consideration your true personality and how you feel and who you really are, and why do you feel like that in the first place about yourself, and what you're truly seeking. And I think that these are these things that have been highly misused, and I think that's what blocked people originally, because if you couldn't do it and you thought that was the right mindset, there was no way out. Yeah. That's why some people say, well, I must well love myself the way I am, because there's no way out for me. Not that you should not love yourself the way you are, because you should, period, no matter of whatever mindset you are. You should love yourself the way you are, but that is no more possibility for expansion, because you already told yourself that that's the only way, and you have to set, and it's the only way.
Yeah.
So that's why fundamentally it did not work for a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think there was a lot of persecution based in it. And I'm not saying it from anybody who actually made up any of these mindsets or even came up with them. It's the idea of having to go through it, the practice of it, the practice of changing your mindset, the practice of attempting to change your mindset.
Yeah.
You have to first condemn something in order to say, I'm going to do this right. Then you've already had to condemn something else as wrong.
But, it's like not understanding what the mind is. I think most of these people saying this, they did not understand what the mind is. And if you don't understand what the mind actually is, then you trying to set up all sort of like settings that you believe is the best way the mind should work. How can you even do it if you don't even know what it truly is? We even till this day, the mind is so much mystery surrounding the mind that even in science, people don't really
100%
sure about
it's still a discovery.
So you setting these things, that is just like a rocky road.
Well, I've come to realize that the times where I have manifested, because like, say for instance, when I met you, I had been manifesting a husband for a while. And then there was a time I was always like doing it, like always clear about it. And then there was a time where I got really just serious about it, like really just like focused on it. And not serious in a serious way, but serious is in a more of a refined way, more fine-tuned about it. And that was when I started to live my life as if I had already experienced it. So I became first.
Yeah.
And I know that this is slightly different to fake it till you make it. It's just make it. It's just be. It was, what do I want? I want somebody who spends evenings in and who's comfortable to like watch films and like, so I would watch films. I would spend evenings in. I wanted somebody who liked going for walks. I would go for walks.
But it's like you start being the change you want to see.
Basically. So whatever it is I desired in a partner, I would just be, and I would experience that every day of my life, regardless of the physical presence of that person.
I think also is the fact that
it was what I'm saying, sorry to cut you again,
no,
but
okay, it's okay.
It was feeling based is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I was
wasn't
going to
my
say
mindset.
It's a matter of the heart.
It was my heart set.
Yeah.
I had, and then I remember older people back in the day saying, oh wow, when you got your heart set on something, nothing will ever stop you. And I was like, you had it right there, you know.
Yeah, but you know like I say, for the mindset, it was a lot related to business and stuff like that. Not to say like you say yes, but maybe looking for love by doing through the mindset. It was kind of like a business way of going about it, rather than, because I think a lot of these things, even when I manifested you, it was a matter of the heart. It has nothing to see with the mind.
Yeah. Like I already knew
the mind
how
was
it would feel.
More what brought up, I would say, the ego with more the fear surrounding it.
Yeah.
You know, are you going to be liked? And, you know, and I mean, you know, I'm not wealthy, or I'm not this, I'm not that, whatever.
Which are the things you kind of had to clear, because it was like once those things come up.
One thing that can come through your mind at the time
is criticism.
Criticism now, but what you, like you said, the evening in, you want someone that can watch a movie with you and cuddle with that person, and then have a great time. This is what you love doing.
Yeah.
Originally, you did love doing. It wasn't an effort for you, was it?
No, it wasn't an effort for me.
A lot of the things that are
somebody who would like to travel, somebody who would like to laugh, somebody who would like to create, somebody who was creative in one way or another, like whether it any type of art. I was willing to. I wasn't trying to be so specific, and that's funny because I wasn't trying to say he had to be a musician.
Right, but this is still the thing you love, though, isn't it?
Definitely.
See, the idea of loving some things and doing something you love and aligning with that aspect will bring on, you'll be able to manifest a lot of things surrounding that. And that's in a way what happened, because you only did the thing you love. Had you trying to do things because you have your mind as an idea of what the perfect husband look like and the perfect wife look like, and trying to replicate it, you may not have the same outcome.
Well, you know what, low-key, I started to go to the gym. Now, I've always been introduced to the gym from a long time ago because my father did weightlifting. So gym was always like in my consciousness, like I knew about gym, I knew about whatever. So it's not like I hadn't been. And there was a time where I started going to the gym, like of my own volition, like just like, let me just start going gym or whatever. Though I've always loved yoga, but you don't need to go to the gym to do yoga. You could do it at home in the living room, you know what I mean? But I started going gym. And I started going gym off of the concept that I wanted somebody who enjoyed doing activities or being active in some way. And I knew that that was something that I really was, outside of walking and just living an active lifestyle. I wasn't somebody who would be in the gym. But back then, people weren't really chatting about hiking.
No, they're not. No, they were
I
not.
can't say they weren't really chatting about those things unless you run in those circles. Nobody was chatting about going hiking. Nobody was talking about all of this stuff. So it was just like, what's the most active thing that I can do that would attract that type of energy or put me in that space where it's like, I could do this. So maybe I'll find them in the gym. I don't know. Didn't have my heart set on anything like that way detailed, but I was like, let me implement that in my life.
But that came in your consciousness because part of you do like hiking.
It did, but I didn't have anywhere to hike, and it was like the next best thing to do.
Didn't you? Check it out for what it is.
What?
When we met
in London?
No, wait, hold on. What's a hike?
Right, I know.
It's a long walk.
It's a long walk.
Okay. No, okay,
It's a
fine.
long
Granted,
walk.
in nature will be better choice, but
Preferred.
you did manifest that as well, because
I
when
did.
we
This
first
is
met,
my
we
point
did not
to you.
have a car, and we
That was
walked
my point
everywhere,
to you.
and we enjoyed walking everywhere.
Honestly, we did at least 5K a day. No
And we enjoyed
problem.
it.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every time anything's going in our relationship where we feel like we have to focus on something or talk about something or get clear on something, we walk.
Yeah, we do.
We walk. And that's with the car. We walk because there's just something about it.
And you manifested living in the countryside as a
That
result
too.
as well.
But years later, I realized that. But then at the time, I stopped going gym, and I thought to myself, nah, it's not for me. I'm not too keen on gym. Let's be real. I'd rather live an active lifestyle, and I left it at that. However, I still walked everywhere. I still did that.
You did, yeah.
Then attracting you walked everywhere. You don't really like the gym.
No.
But if I ask you to go on a hike, or if we go somewhere in this countryside and we got to walk up and down, you're absolutely game to do so. So I'm like, you came to the same conclusion. So it's like when you still have to align with what works for you and not try to. That was the part where I guess I was faking it till I made it.
I think
you can't fake it because I'm saying this. It's like if I told you to sing a note, it was whether the note would come out shaky or fluent. And I'm just saying, like, energy-wise, it comes out more fluently when it comes from the heart, when it comes from a place that is honestly in alignment with you. Because then it's effortless to keep that frequency consistent.
Yes. And plus, when you say fake it until you make it, this only are words choices, because they're from the mind. But if you take it to your heart, it's simply you experiencing. So you say, well, I love to hike in the mountains.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the mountains. What's a hike? It's just a walk. How about go for a walk? Because
and
I actually
how many steep roads have we done? Roads that are like
exactly.
that.
Why? And then because you actually love the feelings you get when you walk.
Yeah.
And you're outside, so you're all with nature. And I know it can be the city, but it's still nature.
It's
Decided
still,
that the city is man-made, yes, but nevertheless, we are from nature.
Yeah.
We are not separate from nature. So by definition, you're still in nature. Concrete jungle, yeah.
You're just not in a green one.
It's just not a green one.
Yeah.
So your perception of it, if you place it in different space, maybe it's not fake it till you make it. Maybe you choose different words. Maybe you just setting yourself in a new timeline, but you are actually experience it until, I guess, you make it, so to speak.
I experienced it until it showed itself in physical form.
It doesn't have to be fake. That's what I'm trying to say.
It wasn't fake. It was real. Like, I went to the shop. I remember going to Curry's and buying myself, which is a electrical store here in the UK, and buying myself a DVD player and buying myself all the films I wanted to watch. And I was like, right, like, I set up popcorn for myself. Like, I would do it big.
So
like,
you made the experience for yourself. I mean, you created, manifested that experience, which in terms, it became, I guess, what you could say real, though it was already real.
It was real. I would set up my space, and as if so, I say this to say, I got to the point where I didn't want to invite somebody into it. I just wanted to do it by myself, because if it wasn't that energy to match my energy, it didn't go down well. Like, there'd been a few times where I had shared that time with other people, friends or family members, and it'd just been like, this space ain't for you.
Yeah.
I know who I'm holding space for. So I'll rather hold it here by myself, because then it would literally just mess with the frequency. I didn't have the language back then to understand these things or to know exactly what it is. It just messed with the mojo of it, is how I put it back then. Like, you're messing with my movie mojo. Like, what are you doing right now?
Yeah. But you know what? It's sometimes, like you mentioned before, the words and the spells that you create as you use these words. And because a lot of the thing is a decision away most of the time, to whether you say, oh, this is real, this is not. As you say, it's real, then it is real. And you say it's not real, then it ain't real. So you kind of choose every single step of the way. And it has little to see with the mind. The mind sometimes has to sit down, be quiet, and you see how you feel, and then you make your choices. And the truth is what you've done. It's a demonstration of how you were not living in the mountains. It wasn't, the hike people like to believe you should be doing. However, you were going to walk everywhere you needed to go. You may not have had that cinema room,
and
but you turned your bedroom into sort of like cinematic experience.
I really did.
And that's wonderful. And that's how it is.
I really did. And this is with like a tiny TV and a little DVD player. And I promise you, and then I think I would have my shows I'd watch, but I'd make sure I would spend the money on buying the films that are new so I can have that experience and like sit down. I'd get my popcorn ready, like I said. I'd get M&Ms, pour them in the popcorn, I'd get a nice drink. Like, it was a whole thing. And I used to have the time of my life. By the time you came, it was as if you just slipped right into the situation rather than...
Simply because I used to go to cinema on my own and sit down and buy myself my popcorn. And because
so you were doing what I was doing, but on your own.
Yeah, because I did not have really a place to stay like that anyway, and I didn't feel I had. So, which like it's all about what you feel. So I thought, hey, this sounds cool, man. I can go anytime because I had these like unlimited cards to go to that UGC at the time it was called.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to see any movies sometime in the afternoon. I used to go early, get my M&Ms, get my popcorn, sit down, drinks.
That's sometimes wild. My friends used to come along. On M&Ms.
Why? Exactly. And sometimes some friends used to come along and sometimes no. And I was fine to do it on my own. The truth is, once you can get on that timeline, you're only going to meet someone that is off that frequency.
I think I felt my most not alone in moments I was doing stuff like that. Though I was physically on my own, I felt like I was at my most comfortable. Like, I didn't feel one hint of loneliness. And because of that, I wasn't alone.
Do you know what's funny? Because at the time, it was a lonely time for me for a different reason. But I wasn't willing to be, as we say in French, mal accompagné, which means, well, you can translate it.
Ill-companied.
Yeah. And every time I made the decision, like you, to experience something nice for myself, I wasn't feeling at this particular time the loneliness. Well, actually was the time I wasn't saying, oh, it'd be good if I could do it with someone. No, it wasn't. It was just like the experience was so great and so aligned with me that I wasn't experiencing loneliness. The only time I was experiencing loneliness when I was working off the mind and asking myself all these useless questions.
And that's the thing. I found that the mind was more a place that I tormented myself. It was a means at which people could drop their own opinions in, and I would shuffle them around.
It's like
at any given time. It was like
it's like Hostel in there.
Yeah, it was
pure
like
torture. Have you seen the movie?
Was like
that Tarantino.
It was
horrific movie he did.
It was just.
Oh gosh, it's just.
It felt tormenting. Like a rec room. Like it felt. It felt like a sixth form recreation room where pinboard, where any old person's pinning up anything, and you just got to come and see what you're dealing with at any given time, and it always looks messy and confused, and you know where your lessons are, but it was a mess. And then there's blame and guilt and shame and all these other things that you just like collect on a day-to-day basis, just based on genuine mistakes that you are not forgiving yourself for, or someone else didn't forgive you for, and that
random justifications.
Just a bag of cats. So in those moments where I did stuff that was heartfelt, that's where I got peace. And that's where I found, like, looking back, I was at my most prolific when it came to manifesting. I didn't call it manifesting at the time. I just knew, and I would say for the language I had, well, you know what? When I have my mindset on something, I get it. Because mindset was the vocab of the time. But the truth is, if I went way back, if I have my heart set on something, I get it. Because I know how to set my heart on something.
Well, I've done a lot of sports to know that there's a fine line in remaining focused on the thing you want to achieve and working off the mind, trying to get the right mindset. And the two are different because there's a part where you can enjoy what you're doing, and you can see in some athletes when they love and enjoy what they're doing, and some of our athletes that forgot the joy of the game and get caught up in the everything else that absolutely don't matter, and the mind that your mind thrives on because it feeds itself off of it. And I would say, to help anyone, sometime you might not be able to do it all the time, but picture it as a cupboard, and as you open that door, and as soon as you see the screen, this torture, close it back immediately. Don't even enter into it. Say, okay,
that's none of my business.
No. Close it. Just close it and do some things that you enjoy doing. Even if you had so much plans, nope. Just close it back and then just do some things you enjoy doing. Even if it's something people say it's bad for you because you want to eat chocolate the whole day, then go ahead and eat chocolate the whole day. Or you want to drink a glass of wine. Whatever give you sort of like relaxations and, you feel good about yourself.
I think Abraham Hicks and Bashar, which are the two of the channelers that we listen to from time to time, really, 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 I don't know if any of you guys listen to them, but Abraham Hicks and Bashar are really good when it comes to just practical advice on how to not get so caught up in mindset and really take it back to the feelings that you are experiencing as a source of having a pure stream of manifestation, at least manifesting from a place of joy, so that you don't, because the truth is we all manifest all the time. That's another thing that nobody tells you at the beginning. By the way, you already manifest. There's nothing for you to learn. It's an adjustment.
Because the mind gets,
you know what I mean?
The mind gets very upset about that.
Yeah.
Because
the mind
if I
is
manifest
no.
everything, so you mean to tell me the shit all I'm in, I manifested that somehow.
That's what it is.
Though my parents never did that for me, or they did that for me, and then it's all things, and
because
it's difficult for people to process.
The mind would operate with coming in with the blame.
Right.
But if you took that out of the scenario and understood you already do, it's a matter of the fine tuning into what you manifest.
That's true. If you take responsibility.
If you told, imagine you're sitting down in a school and you say, look, you're already manifesting. You manifested this very day. I just want you to know it. Now, how it goes is up to you. What else you manifest is up to you.
Well, if
but
you,
good or bad, it literally is a manifestation.
well, if you, well, we can have a conversation about actual manifestation and how it actually work. Because the thing is,
I thought we already were.
yeah, but more in details into. So, for instance,
Go.
If you have a problem with what you're seeing, and you say, "Well, I didn't ask for this." Somehow you're not taking responsibility for the fact that whatever's been creating, and I'm not being a blame, just that somehow I manifested it. What I've done, maybe I haven't followed what my joy is or some things that I love, because now I'm manifesting more situation that I don't like, because I don't like this, I don't like that, and that's this person's fault. That it's not my fault, it's this and that, because you're still trying to justify as far as, well, you're not a bad person to yourself. So then you create more of the universe, give you more of what you don't like. However, now if you take responsibility for your manifestation, good or bad, if you want to see it that way, then you're like, okay, I don't prefer this, then I can't stay in that I don't prefer this, this is this person who did that to me, or what that and whatnot. You then shift to a situation where you like, okay, what do I like? What do I love? Hence why I was saying, when you feel overwhelmed about what the mind is doing, do something you love, because what the universe does in manifestation, it will give you more things that you love.
Yeah.
Because you're in that frequency.
Yeah, it doesn't read.
It won't read.
It doesn't read the anything else. It reads your feelings.
Yeah, it doesn't read the blames. It don't care about the blame or whatever, how you want to blame it.
That's your perception.
That's your perception, exactly.
It will, if until your perception is retranslated as your feelings, it won't read it. It will only read whatever frequency you're at, which is a whole nother conversation. But imagine.
That's what I was saying about doing another maybe episode on manifestation in itself, how the universe reads it.
We can, but that's actually a really good idea. We'll do that. But in terms of it still keeping on the whole entire, if it's then a sense of consciousness, which is where people, I guess, would get confused, because they think consciousness, mind.
It's misused tools. That's why it
not is. Consciousness, heart.
Yeah, I think mind is not you.
Feel. How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
And it's so funny that the same world that teaches people about mind, it was like a Trojan horse to have you stay out of your heart space, so that whatever you manifest, you just keep on, you fight it the whole way there. Like things that people could, and then you make a song and dance about the fact that you arrived there. Yeah, after 20 years, I made it, I'm here. And it's like, everyone's happy for you still. But what if I told you that you could have manifested it in a fraction of that time had you had aligned?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a big pill to swallow. And also, that's not to say, time-wise, that it wouldn't have taken the same amount of time, because, sometimes the universe is lining up your scenario to serve it to you in your most enjoyable form. But we want to jump the gun. We want to decide, which is the mind again coming in, trying to decide how it comes. It's like if I say, I want to, it's typical, I want to be a millionaire. But I've decided I only want to do this playing the lotto.
But this is why it's worth to actually details this manifesting aspect.
We will make a whole manifesting
because
aspect.
It's very, when you're not used to what it is, it's tricky to even understand in the first place.
Well, then we'll just dedicate next episode all just to manifesting.
I would say it's just.
I was meaning this to say about the feelings. and the consciousness map, which I found it incredibly helpful when it comes to fine-tuning how important your feelings are, your consciousness is, your frequency is. Like, what radio station are you tuned in on? And let me get this up. I'll see if I can share this, but
we can put the link below as well eventually, like, you know, for the one who can't really see it. Or
definitely, but I'll explain it to you. It's the map of consciousness, and it was developed by David R. Hawkins. I'm sure a lot more people have done it, but it's a chart that shows a spectrum. It's a spectrum from all the different energetic frequencies, ranging from 20 all the way to 1,000. So if you're in the sciences, or if you're in music, like sound engineering, you would get what frequencies are. If you work with sound, you'd get what frequencies are. But it's an energy vibration. So different feelings that you have give off different vibrations. And this for me was a game changer as far as consciously manifesting, and then looking back and seeing how much times why I was so prolific on certain times. But I'll end with this. So the map of consciousness has things from at the very lowest frequency, we would have shame, the feeling of shame at like 20. And all the lower he calls it the survival paradigm, would be shame, guilt, apathy, grief. And as you go through these things, it will get higher and higher and higher up the frequency levels. So then you have fear, desire, anger. And then as you switch over from survival paradigm to reason and integrity, you would get pride, and then courage, neutrality, willingness, reason. And then from reason above, you would get a spiritual paradigm, which is love, joy, peace, and then enlightenment. And once I saw this, I was just like, oh, so that's why I was able to manifest that easy, because I didn't leave space for criticism or shame or guilt in those moments. I was purely in the moment of the joy of the moment, hence Awaken to Joy. But I was purely in that moment of just being in my bliss, just enjoying the moment, just in the peace of it. And that peace that you get from just purely enjoying something without criticizing it or second guessing it, that's the peace that allows you to be such a precise manifester when it comes to manifesting things that which you desire, you want, your heart's desire. So because it's a matter of feeling, when I also went back and then I looked at the survival paradigms, I was like, you know what? I've got to check what I'm watching, what I'm doing. Now, low-key, maybe about 5 years ago, I got off of Instagram. Was it before I had Gabby? Was it before I had Gabby?
I think so.
Before I had Gabby.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. And I swear to you, I had this niggling feeling like it was a part-time job I wasn't being paid for. And I resented being on it. So I'd go on it, I would enjoy it, but it would be very short-lived, and I would resent. Like, I was like, why do I feel this is taking up so much of my time? And I'm more here than actually doing things that I love doing. Why is this a thing? Like, why? And I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna come off of it. And I just stepped away and deleted it from I didn't delete the account though. I'm always thinking about going back and deleting the account. I will whenever I'm bothered. It's a dead account. Gives a shit.
It.
And I just deleted the app off my phone and walked away a new person. I promise you. It felt so good. I was like, I don't know. And every time families would be like, oh, it was on this. Oh, okay then, I don't know. All right then, fine. And you know what as well? I think the last thing I found out about on Instagram was the passing of a family member.
Yeah.
And I think all that niggling, that pretty much did it for me. I was like, oh, there ain't nothing nice here. And then I thought back, and then when I saw this list, I thought back to it and I thought, shame. Are any of these feelings that people feel when they are on social media, or was it just me? Shame. And I'm not saying you're in there just, shame. Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking just fleeting feelings of it, and the feeling of shame, guilt. Why can't I get that for myself? Why haven't I done this yet? Why haven't I done that yet? Oh gosh, that person's got their shit together. I don't do that. Guilt. Apathy. Felt many times.
Yeah.
Grief.
Yeah.
Grief can come in many ways. You could grieve the person who you thought you were going to be. You can grieve the things that you thought you were going to have that you've decided now that you will never have anymore. Grieve the life that is gone, that people have told you, that's it, time's up, you're never going to get that back. Oh my Lord. That. Fear. We all lived through 2020, didn't we? Okay, I'll say no more. Desire. And you know what? Blessings. It came just in time because I came off of that before 2020.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't even imagine being on it in 2020. Like, oh, thank you, Spirit. I dodged that one. Anger, which is what you do when you probably get some news or get some information that pisses you off, or see a comment, or see people trolling, or people be sharing their opinions. You got people with opposite opinions to you. You triggered. Anger, that's another one. I mean, I've had texts from people who've seen things on Instagram and got so angry about it, they felt like they had to text me about it. Like, can you imagine how angry you must be to do that?
Yeah, that's true.
Think about how angry it's got you if you have to come off of the platform to text somebody who's not on the platform to tell them about what's going on. Think about it, okay?
Yeah, that's a lot.
And then you've got pride. That's the last survival paradigm. And I thought about pride and I kind of wrestled with the idea, like, well, my mind did anyway. Well, my mind did because I had a belief that maybe pride was a good thing, because you're told that if you don't have any pride in something, that you don't care about it. Or if you were a kid and your parents never told you, I am proud of you, then they don't care about you. They're not supporting you in the right way. Or that if you were a parent and you're not proud of your kids, that's something you should be ashamed of. It's a feeling that is very much one of those things where people try and make out that if you have it for yourself, that's a good thing. And if you don't have it, then you're in lack. And are you proud of your country? Are you proud of, your color? Are you proud of being a voluptuous woman? Are you proud of being whatever else they can put behind it?
They're all mind teasers.
It is a survival paradigm. When I checked it, I said, yeah, okay.
They're all mind.
All right, David. Hawkins, you got me there.
They're all mind teasers. So basically all of this will tease your mind to try to pay attention. You will constantly find yourself involved with your mind. Like this is the whole thing.
It's a mind. It gets your mind involved in the conversation about your heart.
Yeah.
And there is the slippery slope.
I think
to Fuckeryville. And I promise you, listen, and what got me as well was the fact that anger was just underneath pride. If I gave someone, let's just do this, like if I gave you guys a list of words that you would have to categorize as higher or lower in frequency, would you really put anger at the top? Like, let me count this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Would it be at the top of your 8, or would it be like the base, number 1, as the lowest? Because, you know, people's reaction to anger, or you experiencing anger or showing your anger, is so judgmental that you would think that anger is the lowest form of communication.
Well, anger is higher in frequency than fear.
It is.
So what do you make of it?
Yeah.
The thing is, I think for them
Which
at least,
lets me know why they want to keep you in fear.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's what it's about. That's coincide as well. Some things we can like cover in manifestations and stuff like that.
Let's just do part 2 and keep it rolling.
Would that be manifestation in itself? Like, you know, at the end of the day, because manifestation in itself covers so many things. Because you were talking about the mindset in the first place. To me, if I had to say one thing that could possibly help, I would say mind is a tool here that allows you to experience contrast, but it is not something to fight with or against. It's not something to be fully reliant on. It is not something that you're trying to suppress or act like it doesn't exist. It is there. It's a bit like the ego. It's a bit like all of these aspects of who we are here. These are the things to balance out, not to trying to say, cut it out, or, yeah, you have to quiet it because it's extremely loud, because it's only what you know how to use.
I think
doing the mindset is actually
you leave it as loud as it is, but you just make sure that whatever else you do is louder, is higher, is bigger.
Or close that door sometimes. You know they have these rules
but
where...
you know how it is, some people can't close the door. They still hear it. Let's really take back for when you are, especially if you're in, say, the grief state. It envelopes you. It just...
Well, I guess it's a set of belief you have to kind of go through what's your belief that allows it to happen in the first place.
Of course, but then you have to be in a place to even give a shit right then. Like, that's the thing. You throw the baby out with the bathwater when you experience those feelings. When you are in the lower survival paradigms, nothing else seems to matter. That's the whole contrast of it.
The whole point, though, if you check it, of the mind, this is how it works. It's like about thoughts. The more you fight that thought, the more it comes.
Absolutely. That is definitely the technical version of it. But I'm saying this from like a practical point of view.
So what would you say then from a practical view? Because we definitely can see that it's a misuse tools, because it doesn't mean it's not helpful. It
can be very helpful.
It's just that it's misused, and because of a set of belief that this is the most important things. Like when you say mindset, you ask the mind to take a lead.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where it all come from.
Yeah, it is. So we are already an hour up. So we're going to just come right back and sit a little bit with the map of consciousness, and we will return with more of that. We'll go through it more, and we'll explore that, and we'll explore more of the manifestation as well. Like,
that'd be
that sounds
interesting
fun.
to talk about it a bit.
Okay, so thanks again for another co-creation, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Ciao.